Second day of the month of February 2023, the election month in Nigeria, and 22 days to the election day. The question is, are you ready? APC point accusing fingers. We hear also situation in the SDP. We speak to the actors tonight. And complaints and frustration over Lagos PVC collection as some centers experience glitches. We get some answers on the matter. Niger Delta leader and Elder Statesman Chief Edwin Clark is asking the Delta State Governor and the running mates to Atiku Abubakar to step down. Hello everyone, welcome. This is the 2023 verdict live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Abuja. We continue with our countdown. It is 22 days to the 2023 elections, and Nigerians anticipate the opportunity to elect their leaders in February this year. So get your PVC and make your votes count. Now, are you doing that or not? Are you ready for the election? 22 days and we're counting. Count down with me, Nigerians. Hashtag Nigeria decides. Well, as the election drew closer, let's check out some of your election updates in our news updates tonight.
The Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal by the People's Democratic Party seeking to restore the nullification of the participation of Osun's ex-governor and his deputy, Goega Oyetola and Benedict Alabi, in the July 16, 2022 governorship election. In a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court led by Justice Sentus Wenze, held that the appeal by the PDP lacked merit and directed the counsel of the PDP, Kehinde Ogunwumiju, to withdraw it. The court held that the PDP could not, under the law, question the process leading to the emergence of Oyetola and Alabi as candidates of the All Progressives Congress in the election. Sequel to the Osun Election Petition Tribunal sacking the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, supporters of the governor have been advised to steer clear of violence and not to be distracted from voting massively for the PDP in the general elections. The Southwest coordinator of the Women's Presidential Campaign Council, Mrs. Dupe Adeleke Sani, made the call at a women's summit held in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. She noted that Governor Adeleke remains the democratically elected governor of the state and confident that the party will come out victorious at the appellate court. An election observation group, Yaga Africa, says stakeholders and political planners must begin devising better means of encouraging more youth participation in politics. The group believes efforts must be geared towards inviting more youths to play active politics. Some leaders of the group were speaking in Lagos during the launch of a research report of youth political participation in Lagos. The group believes the more youths are encouraged to play roles, the better for the country.
Young people carry with them energy. Young people carry with them enthusiasm. Young people carry with them innovation.
Ahead of the February 25th presidential election, the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Commission is urging candidates and political parties to renew their commitments to upholding the contents of the signed peace accord and the Electoral Act and guidelines, as that remains the criteria that could guarantee peaceful and credible election. Well, this was disclosed at a training and interactive workshop in Owerri, the Imo State capital. The Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has assured residents of the state of more infrastructure development if given another opportunity in the next governorship election in the state. He made the promise during his re-election campaign visit to Adodo local government area in the Ogun West Senatorial District, where he inspected an ongoing project and commissioned an emergency service center and fire station.
We constructed over 1,300 affordable housing units. We've constructed over 100 primary health centers, and we will continue. We will not stop. We will not stop.
A court of appeal sitting in Owerri, the Imo State capital, has stopped the planned rerun primary election of the People's Democratic Party in Abombese Ngopala Federal Constituency of Imo State, scheduled to hold Thursday, 2nd February 2023. according to the stay of execution order by Justice Rita Akpemu of the Court of Appeal in Owerri. The primary election should be put on hold pending the hearing and final determination of the applicant's appeal before the Supreme Court on the propriety of the said order of fresh election. The former interim national chairman of the All Progressives Congress and governor of Yobe State, Mr. Mai Malabuni, was received today by President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja.
There you've been served with your election news update right this hour. Now, this program is interactive and we want to get your views on the topics we have for discussion. So tweet to us on some of these handles on your screen at CTV Politics and at Shane Walking. Send an email to 2023verdicts@channelstv.com using the hashtag 2023verdict. All right, then, let's get into the mix of things. Let me give you an idea of what we're getting ourselves into within the next 22 days. Of course, in one day, and that is the 25th of February, 2023, we are going to be seeing two elections. There are four different kinds of election or types of election that we'll be seeing. First is on the 25th of February, 2023, and the second round is on the March the 11th. Now, the first round is the presidential election and the National Assembly elections, which we hold on the same day, on the 25th of February. Now, there are 109 seats in the National Assembly in the Senate that are up for contest. 109 seats across the senatorial district of the country that we'll be focusing on that day, the February 25th, 2023. And there are 360 seats for the Green Chambers, that is the House of Representatives election. Every of the seats there will be filled on that election day based on the election that will happen. Some of the figures that you need to know in this election. Of course, we know that altogether, those who are capable and able to go into this election in terms of the number of the voting population that we have, according to INEC, stands at over 93 million. Now, in all of these, the distribution are pretty much clear. From age 18 to 34, there are about 39% of the entire voting population, and from the age of 35 to 39 are from about 35% of the voting population, while 50 years to 69 takes about 18.94%, and the elderly, which is above the age of 70, are 5% of the voting population. That is the age distribution. Of course, you know, the minimum age for voting in Nigeria is 18. Now, this is the state of things right now, as far as the states that are controlled by political parties are concerned. From the states, perhaps in the region of this part of the country, Sokoto State is red, which is the PDP. PDP standing with 14 states, APC 21 states, ABGA holding 1 state. ABGA right here controlled by in Anambra State, and you can see the distribution. This is what they usually call the political structures. The governors holding some of these states. Would they be able to hold on to this state? These are some of the issues that will come up as we get into the thick and things of the election. So this is how it stands. Put this map in your mind, and they will matter in the coming days as far as this election is concerned. The states that are being controlled by the different political parties. As far as we have it, 2 states are sharing the control. The APC and the PDP, ABGA with 1 Anambra State. Well, things are not getting any slower. The race is intense and so much is happening that could swing the trajectory of the race. So let's check out the temperature of the things right now. This is the state of the race. Let's tell you that the APC presidential campaign is in Osun State today, and the candidate of the ruling party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is again speaking up on the state of the nation, is acknowledged that the Nigerian people are facing difficult times owing to the scarcity of fuel and scarcity of naira notes in circulation. He also criticized the Osun State government for not allowing his party and his campaign a venue for the rally. Northern and Middle Belt Forum have endorsed Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party for the president of Nigeria ahead of the 2023 elections. The decision was announced today at the end of a meeting of the forum in Abuja. The SMBLF, as it's popularly called, is chaired by Chief Edwin Clark and is made up of leaders from the Middle Belt area as well as groups including the Ohaneze Indigbo, Afenifere, and the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. Where the leader of PANDEF, Chief Edwin Clark, has been speaking and is asking the governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, and the running mate of Atiku Abubakar to step down from becoming the vice presidential candidate of the party. Chief Clark is also asking Senator Okowa to openly apologize to colleagues in the APC and PDP whom he alleged to have deceived in taking a decision after it was agreed that no southern-serving governor, legislator, or politician should accept to be running mate to Mr. Atiku Abubakar. He's also accusing Governor Okowa of being corrupt, dictatorial, and nepotistic in his leadership of Delta State, his home state. Take a listen to the elder statesman.
Our governor, without discussing with any one of us, was working with a presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, without our knowing. He has invited his fellow governors, 17 southern governors, to a meeting, conference in Delta State, where all of them agreed that the presidency of Nigeria must come to the south.
Well, there you have it, and that is the state of the race right now. Well then, thank you so much, everyone. There is heat in the politics of Rivers State as violent activities have been recorded a couple of times. The governorship candidate of the Socio-Democratic Party, SDP, in Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, says he escaped assassination attempt when unknown gunmen, according to him, attacked his campaign train at Akinima community in Awada West local government area of the state. Senator Abe and his team had earlier visited Ubeita and other communities in the area before heading to Akinema, which is the headquarters of the local government area, when they came under heavy gun attack. Tonight, we'll be looking at the politics of Rivers State. In the midst of the peace accord signed by leaders of the different political parties, does look like Rivers State, things are getting heated in that Niger Delta state, in the south-south region of the country. Let's speak tonight with the candidate, the governorship candidate of the Socio-Democratic Party, Senator Magnus Abe. He joins us live from Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Thank you so much, Senator Abe, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Shehu, for having me.
Great. Give us an understanding of what is really going on with the campaigns in, you said the other day, 3 days or 2 days ago, on Monday specifically, there was the report of the attack on your campaign. What happened?
Well, it's been quite a very traumatic experience for those of us who are trying to campaign in Rivers State and trying to take our message of hope in a better tomorrow across the Rivers State. This is not the first time this kind of thing is happening. It's actually the fifth time that we've had gunshots from targeted at us for simply trying to go around to share our message of a better tomorrow with Rivers people. Our visit at Lima started with some hiccups. First of all, we had to postpone going to Akinima because we got a report that all the canopies and states that brought out to host the event that we had, because the opening of our office and to address our supporters and members. The canopies were destroyed by storm, by PVC storms, led and sponsored by the chairman of the local government area. Now, after we got that report, they had to delay our visit and visit some of the other locations first, while we try to now relocate the event to a community hall somewhere in the town. Again, the same people came to the hall and then scattered everything that was there, pulled out our banners, and forcefully, with the help of some security agents, drove everybody out of the place. And I said, okay, we should go to the party office if we wanted to open, and that I will still go there to try to share our message with whoever was there to encourage them. And then on time to drive to the local government, 2 vehicles were brought out by local government chairman and his councillors, the storms, and armed government, and they blocked the road. And when we
well, we seem to be having some difficulties with the connection with Senator Magnus Abe. At some point on the program, we will also try to get some reactions from the ruling party and the government of the day, because when this kind of situation is happening, there must be some answers. There must be reasons why all of this is happening. And how can a state that go into an election with this kind of violence and the fear that is going on? Senator Abe, if you can hear me, there was a momentary loss of connection with you. But I mean, if you're back with us, can you land on the thought that you were on before the hitch?
Well, sure, I don't know if you can hear me. Because,
I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yes. I was saying that this is not the first time, and these are not unknown gunmen. All this violence in the local government areas are being sponsored by the chairman of the local government areas on the instructions of the governor and their party, the PDP. When we went to the waterfront in Okrika, they were attacked. Guns were used freely and openly in front of the security agency. And our canopies and things were destroyed, and people were threatened, stoned, and, you know, with guns, and forced to, we had to leave the place. When we went to Oyibo, people with guns in broad daylight, there were videos of them. They came out and said the state chairman of the PDP, that was his community, and therefore SDP could not come there to campaign. When we went to Thai local government, the chairman of the local government came out personally to sponsor these attacks on our party office there. There was so much shooting, bullets were flying everywhere. And this was done in the open, in the presence of the police. And the funny thing is that the police commissioner issued a separate statement to say that what happened in Thai was infighting between the parties, while the local government chairman himself insisted that he was enforcing Order 21 and 22, and that he came there, he didn't come with thugs, he came with security agency. So I don't know how you can describe this kind of situation as being done by unknown gunmen. The attack in Akinima was sponsored by the chairman of the local government, Honorable Pikiko. The cars that were used to block our entrance into Akinima belong to councillors that are serving in the local government. The thugs that opened fire on us there were people who were sponsored by the local government. So this is not a case of unknown gunmen. These gunmen are known, their identities are known.
Senator Abe, yeah, you have mentioned people's names to these attacks.
Yes.
And these are very grave allegations that you are making with people's names. And I mean, it's actually very strong allegations actually that you're making tonight. What evidence do you have to support your claims tonight that these men that you have mention their name. Did you see them on the ground? How did you know they sponsored it?
There are videos. When we went to Oyibo, the thugs who blocked the road, they had guns. They mentioned the name of Desmond Akawo. I didn't say it here. They said it there. When we went to Okrika waterfront, the people who came to harass us were known. Those who sent them were also known. When we went to Thai local government, the chairman of the local government himself was on air to say that he was the one who went there to attack the place and that he went there with the security agency. He did not go with thugs. These are on record. These are what they said themselves. And the police said that it was a clash between internal matter of the party. But the chairman of the local government, Rebon Bakone Okwe, came on air to say that he was the one who went there to enforce Order 21 and Order 22. So I'm not just mentioning people's names. These are issues that are in public circulation here in Rivers State. When we went to Akinima, the 2 vehicles that were used to block the road to prevent us from having access to the local government belongs to 7 staff of the local government who are councillors there. So I'm not just mentioning names, I'm telling you what actually happened. The people who went to the hall in Oyibo to go and pull down our banners and destroy our meetings, their names, we have called their names out. There are people who are known, or about some Dicky or whatever his name is. These are people who are known to everybody here in the state. So these are not things, there are no unknown gunmen acting in Rivers State. What is happening in Rivers State is officially sponsored terrorism that is happening with the connivance of the security agency. In fact, right now, Sharon, what is happening is that they have drawn up a list of active mobilizers of the SDP, and they are catching them, they are arresting them, kidnapping them practically, dragging them to court, and incarcerating them for the period of the elections. Today, a well-known businessman and mobilizer for the SDP, Honorable Charles Tenalo from Gokana, my own local government, was arrested for kidnapping. And before he has even been allowed to make a statement, he was taken to court and remanded in prison custody. That is what is going on in Rivers State in the 21st century. So I don't know who is talking about unknown gunmen. There are no unknown gunmen acting here. What is going on here?
Senator Abe, I mean, you are, as a former lawmaker and a former secretary to the government of the Federation, you know the workings of a state government. Have you laid complaints? If you are making these allegations, or you're saying that this is you said it, and that is an official terrorism, and these are strong words that you have used tonight. I mean, have you made any official claims or communication with the government of Rivers State in this respect?
We have made every complaint. We have complained to the Inspector General of Police, the national chairman of our party. Even today, has written to the National Security Advisor, he has written to INEC, he has written to the Inspector General of Police. The documents are all there. All these things are documented. So what is happening in Rivers State is state-sponsored terrorism. As we speak now, there is a list of members of the SDP that are to be arrested. People's names, it is known, they have told it today in Bori town. The Eze Ndibu of Bori, Eze Akarakara, the deputy, the Honorable Dumdeko, went to his store today to say that he must move out of Bori because he's supporting SDP. All these things are going on openly. Nothing is hidden. The whole country is seeing it, and nobody is saying anything. Nobody is doing anything about it. How are we going to have elections if the state will keep quiet and allow people to terrorize other citizens who are merely trying to carry out their own civic obligations? This kind of situation is totally unwarranted and unacceptable. So there is no unknown gunmen at play here. What is at play here in Rivers State is state-sponsored terrorism. That's what is going on here.
Those are strong allegations you've made, Senator Abe. But we're due for a break, everyone. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be getting some reactions from the state government in Rivers State on these allegations that have been made by Senator Magnus Abe. Stay with me, everyone. The 2023 verdict continues after now. Thank you indeed, everyone, for staying with us right here on the 2023 verdict right here on Channels Television. Earlier on, before we went on that break, we were hearing from Senator Magnus Abe, the SDP governorship candidate, who's alleging issues relating to violence, mentioning names who, at the moment, we will get reaction from the state government on some of these allegations. The agenda and the plan here is to have a peaceful election, isn't it? But I guess we need to, we'll get to that moment in a few minutes. But let's check what is happening in Lagos State with the permanent voter card collection. There's been a lot of stories. People pissed off, people upset about the manner in which the collection has gone. Some people say they queue up from morning to night and not able to collect. Some, in fact, have been told that their PVCs have not been printed. What are the true state of things? Those who have alleged that there is some kind of manipulation in the collection period. Let's clear all some of these issues tonight, and we'll be speaking with the INEC rec in Lagos, Mr. Olusegun Agbaje. But before he joins us, I'll allow you to listen to what happened earlier today in Lagos, which Channels Television captured. We'll get to you just in a moment, but let me first and foremost get to hear from Mr. Olusegun Agbaje. That soundbite will come to you in another few minutes. Mr. Agbaje, it's good to have you on the program. Thank you so much for joining us. If you can hear me, give us an understanding. I know Lagos State, INEC, has been giving updates on the collection of the PVCs, but there seems to be some worries in some quarters about the collection and the logistics surrounding it. What is going on exactly?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Lagos State is trying its best, and I don't think there is any serious problem in Lagos State collection.
Can you say anything?
Well, from the report that we have, Mr. Agbaje, it does look to me that there is more about what is happening. Let me give you an example. There are places in Lagos, which Channels Television covered today, where we had scenarios of people queuing up, and in fact, it got a bit rough when those who have been waiting on the queue for a long time had not been able to collect their PVCs. Some were being told that their PVCs have not been printed, and a whole lot of those kind of stories. Where would you say you've been having challenges in terms of distribution?
We don't have any challenge. The challenge we have is that the many people that ought to have done transfer last year did double registration. And by the Commission's guidelines, anybody with double registration cannot get another PVC, because it's assumed that it's already having one PVC. The only area we have majority of people in that category is Oshodi, particularly at Okota in Oshodi, local government area. So, and then we have told the people that they cannot have PVC because many of them from the southeastern part of the country. Last year, because of the insecurity in their area, ought to have migrated to Lagos. But what they did was to go and do another registration, which made their registration to be double registration. And anybody who does that will not get PVC, because many of them have spoken to directly, who called me directly, that I spoke to. Immediately I asked them, what was the one you did in 2011 or 2015? They will tell me it's lost, it's missing. So these are the conditions. So and we have told people like that they cannot get PVC. That is the standard rule of the Commission. It is not made here in Lagos. It is Commission's guidelines.
Have you received any reports of untoward behaviors or conduct by any of your staff?
I have not, and I've also told Lagosians that wherever they see that they should mention, we have 13,325 polling units in Lagos State. We have 245 registration areas. They should just tell me one area. In fact, when this thing was very serious, I even wrote personally to the Commissioner of Police in the state and to that SSS that in case they should send their operatives to go out and monitor our people on the field. If they see any of them, that they should arrest such a person. We have not had any such arrest. So anybody saying that it's just a general comment and not a specific argument.
Now, but we are receiving some comments and some complaints, and a lot of people who have gone to their centers and they say they are not able to collect their PVCs. In fact, there is a group of lawyers in Lagos who say they're accusing your staff of being harsh towards people who have to join long queues to get their card. Would you say that maybe you do not have sufficient number of officials to dispense these cards?
We had, even by the time we even went to the area, the commission allowed us, like for instance at Tokota, where I was supposed to have about 4, we eventually ended up having about 17 people working in that area. So I would not say we didn't have enough staff, but I want you to tell me specifically which areas are you talking about. I've told you, when we moved to the areas, we have 245 in Lagos. Tell me 1 or 2 of them that have had such challenges. So
I'll give you an idea of some of the areres where some people have made complaints.
Not an idea. Tell me specifically where it
No, I will, Mr. Agbaje. So that, I mean, the essence of this conversation is so that some of these issues can be resolved for the benefit of the voters who are willing and genuinely want to vote on election day. Areas in around Festac, areas in Amuwo, people there are complaining about going to their centers and not finding their names. Are there any of such issues that have come to your table?
I've told those who had genuine complaints, we sent them on the portal straight to Abuja. And last week, Monday, we brought 29,000 PVCs from Abuja to Lagos State. And again, over this weekend, on Sunday specifically, we also brought additional 7,000 PVCs to Lagos State. So I'm sending them to all the 20 local government areas. So, yeah, I've told you before, if anybody says he cannot get his PVC, ask that person. He must have done double registration. And once you do that, you cannot get another PVC because it's assumed that you already have 1 PVC, and many of them are like that.
Okay, so let me take some specific issues up. Someone is telling us here that I did a transfer, and I'm quoting the words of the person. He said, I did a transfer, it was approved, I went to the ward and local government, and I was told my card cannot be found. I was asked to come back and fill a form. What is the fate of this kind of person?
I don't know where you got that report, because if it is 2 weeks ago, like I said, last week we brought additional 29 PVCs. If it was last week, on Sunday, about 4 days ago, we brought additional 7,000 PVCs from the headquarters. So I don't know when that, maybe if the person goes there tomorrow or Saturday, maybe the person will need to collect his PVC.
Can you tell us, Mr. Agbaje, if everyone that participated in the CVR now have their permanent voter cards printed in Lagos?
No, we are not printing PVC in Lagos.
No, the question I'm asking, for Lagos voters who participated in the last CVR, do you have all of the PVCs ready for those who did their CVR in the last exercise?
I believe that we have substantial number of them, except those who did double registration, who will not have PVCs.
There are those of
others we have.
There are those voters also who made transfers to have their own concern be treated in this matter too.
No, those who did transfer, their cases are well treated and they have their PVC. Like I said before, if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, by last week, we got additional 29,000 PVCs. And this Sunday, we got additional 7 again. So if they went there 2 weeks ago and have not gone back since that time, maybe those are people that are complaining now.
Now, for those who think that they've successfully done the movement of their voting centers, give us an understanding, Mr. Agbaje. For those who move their polling unit from one place to another, are they to go back to those polling units to collect on that area to collect their PVC, or they go back to the previous place?
We don't carry out the exercise at the polling unit. We went out to RA level, or what you know in local parlance as ward level. But now, since last week, we came back to local government, we are going to end this coming Sunday.
Mr. Agbaje, I don't know also, because these are concerns that people are raising, and the reason why we've decided that we need to speak to you tonight is because of this issue. Etiosa is another area where people have complaints. Any word from that area?
Etiosa is one of the areas where we had large number of collection. In fact, there was a time, during the time we were at the RA level, that we are collecting between 9,500 PVCs every day. So Etiosa, even yesterday when the thing is going down garage, we still have about 4,500 PVCs collected. So Etiosa is one of the areas that large collection have been done. And as I talk to you now, at the 1st of January this year, we have done about 87% collection in Lagos State.
All right, Mr. Agbaje, let me show you the earlier footage that I was asking for, and I'm being told that it's properly queued now. So let me allow you to watch these. And this was earlier today in Lagos.
I came here to collect my PVC, and also I joined them as a voluntary INEC official in collecting the printout. So I'll submit it to the office for them to sort it out and bring the card outside. So since morning now, we have submitted over 300 printouts from Okota Ward, and since then they have not bring out like 20 PVCs out. Like me personally, I've submitted it. They said no, you have not been. I have gone to the ward level. When I reached there, after 7 times, they say it's not found. I came here, they sent me this message that the card is here. I came here, after I gave them, the official is telling me that not found. So I don't know what they want us to do. And I even joined them in the exercise, some kind of collecting some of the papers, in ensuring that people collect their PVC. But at the end of the day, this is not reading any positive response.
All right, Mr. Agbaje, there you have it. That was earlier today, this afternoon, in Lagos. So do you have any response, or how do you respond to the concerns of some of these people? Mr. Agbaje, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Were you able to see the footage that we played earlier? That was today in Lagos. How do you react to the concerns of these people who are carrying placards?
Today in Lagos, Professor Pat who told me this, what you will not expect a senior officer or a senior Nigerian to do. He virtually invaded our office at Oshodi, it's a local government area, with some people that we didn't know. And they had an illegal press conference inside a conference room at Oshodi. Pat Oshodi told me he's a senior person. We didn't expect that from him. That's an invasion. We informed the police appropriately and the DSS. We also informed them about this invasion. It is uncalled for. It's an act of intolerance on his part. What he did today could have led to violence if other people in the area had reacted that way. But I think the security agencies did their best to ensure that there was no violence in that area. So Pat told me ought to be blamed for the type of invasion or aggression that he showed.
So, the concern that Professor Patutomi raised when he got to your office today, which he told some of your officials, have those fears been allayed? If he had approached me or called me, I would expect the same thing I said at the beginning of this program, that I told you this solo. We had a lot of people that migrated from the southeast. They wanted to vote in Lagos. During our registration last year, instead of being transferred from the area, what they did was to do a fresh, many of them did fresh. Those who did transfer got their PVCs. But those who did fresh registration, apparently that it amounted to double registration and they could not get PVCs. Our national president is aware of this, so it is not something that is hidden at all. So is there anything that, because the deadline, if I'm correct, is by Sunday, isn't it? By Monday, nobody will be able to collect the PVCs again. Is that right?
No, nobody will be able to collect.
So where lies the fate of those who are caught in this situation?
That is the policy of the commission. Anybody who does double registration will not get PVC because it is assumed that he's having one that he's keeping. And this is where we started to have a lot of PVC being scattered here and there. When people collect one, they don't need again, they will throw it away. But if the person has done legitimate transfer, those who did, many of them have gotten their PVC. So those who have not gotten have asked they should go back to the local between tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. We won't close until about 6 o'clock on Sunday at the end of before the exercise will end.
Clarify to us, Mr. Agbaje, are you saying that it is those who have alleged to have registered twice will be punished and will not be able to get their PVC? Is that the decision of INEC as of now?
It is not punishment. The law says that nobody should hold 2 PVCs. And if you are having one, you don't have to get another one again. It is illegal.
Okay, because, reading through the policy of the commission, I thought that the INEC would recognize one and disregard the other, not being denied the two.
No, which one are you saying?
If there is a double registration by a voter,
it is not allowed. If you have done transfer instead of doing double registration.
So if there is a double registration, based on the policy of your commission, would you disregard the person totally, or you allow the person just one of the PVCs available?
No, those of them that did not collect their previous, even 2011, some are just collecting. When I came to Lagos last year, we had about 1.4 million uncollected old PVCs. Now they have reached about 800, which means that between March last year and January 31 this year, about over 600 old PVCs. When I say old, I mean 2011, 2015, and 2019 PVCs.
Let me take another view from some other people who are alleging, this is at the level of allegations, Mr. Agbaje. They say they are from the southeast region of the country and they are being denied their PVC in Festac, Okota, Amuwodofin, Oshodi, Surulere, and Ojota. Have you heard of these kind of complaints, and what are you doing about them?
We heard them, we tried to interrogate them, but it was not justifiable. It was not a genuine allegation.
What process have you put in place to ensure that people who have these complaints are not met with this kind of circumstance, if in any case they find it genuine?
Like I said earlier, I said the fact that we have sufficiently senior EOs in all the places. We also send each head of departments at the head office here to move around the 20 local government areas to ensure that nobody was disallowed from collecting his PVC. And like I said earlier, I also wrote to the Commissioner of Police in the state. I wrote to the Director of SS in the state to alert them of the allegations so that they can also help us send their operatives to the field and arrest anybody that is found. And nobody has been arrested so far.
Now, let's move quickly and look at the state of the raids in Lagos State. There's been some skirmishes here and there where political parties are found, they are at each other's neck, and we've seen situations where the military are raiding in some parts of the state. Are you aware of this situation? Does this help the process ahead of the election on the 25th?
We are talking with the IPAC leadership, and next week again we are also meeting with the leadership of the various parties in the state. So at least we'll try to aggregate this thing as we approach the election to ensure that we don't have violence in Lagos State during this coming election.
I know that there is the inter-agency consultation forum, which you have the security agencies, head of security agencies working with INEC preparation for the election. Are you aware of the operations of the military ahead of the election in Lagos?
We are meeting on Tuesday next week. That is where all this will be tabled, and then we'll be able to exchange ideas, what we have, what they have, and then how to move forward.
So far, can you tell us that Lagos looks ready, or do you have any fear as to those areas that have been highlighted as the hotbeds in Lagos?
Well, like I said earlier, it is our expectation that Lagos State will have a very peaceful election. And that is why the ICS committee again, we have met before. We have looked at the various areas and areas we tag hotspots. But by Tuesday, we're able to put a tag on each of them, be able to find out what to do to ensure that these things do not cause problems for us during the election.
I know you are one of the most experienced INEC official. You've led other states in under INEC to conduct elections, but Lagos is a big deal. Eyes will be on that state. Are you under any kind of pressure, Mr. Agbaje?
Because Lagos has the largest voter registration in Nigeria. It has the largest number of voters registered, and we have about over 7 million. Again, in terms of polling units, we have 30,325. So apparently, we do know that Lagos State to be a sort of focus, and we are also preparing to ensure that our people do their work well. Security agencies also partner with us, because the major job of INEC is to conduct election. Other agencies also have their roles to play to secure the environment and ensure that we are able to do our job in a secure environment.
All right. So the big question here, can you give us an update on the number of voters that we have? This will have, those who have collected their PVCs and the number that you have existing that are ready to go to the polls as of today in Lagos.
Well, are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Please go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead.
I will describe it in three broad ways. We have the old PVCs. Like I said earlier, the number of cards that have been collected, 5,734,559. When I said old PVC, I mean PVCs from 2011, 2015, and 2019. And that one we have had about 87% collection. And that is, we still have a total of 835,732. That is the old PVCs. The current one, we have collected, at least when I say current one, I mean the new ones of 2021, 2022. We also have both the fresh one, those who do transfer, and then those who do other updates. We have received cards amounting to 1,067,111, out of which 899,026 have been collected. This also gives us about 84.3%. We still have about 168,000 yet to be collected. Overall, if I marry the two, we have received about 7.6 million PVCs from the national headquarters, out of which 6.6 have been collected. We still have 1 million left. So, and that also gives us a total of 87% collection rate of all the cards put together.
Great. So let's take a breather, Mr. Agbaje, and we will be back on the 2023 verdict on Channels Television. Stay with us, everyone. The conversations continue. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here. I told you earlier that we will be having a very robust and interactive conversations on this election program. So there is a poll where we want to have your views and for you to have your say. There's been a lot of campaigns that we have been saying that politicians have gone to the rostrum campaigning and making promises. But one question we'd like to ask you on our poll for this week is very simple. Which of these issues would you like the presidential candidates to focus more on in their campaigns, or which of these issues would you like the presidential candidates to focus more on either when campaigning or upon winning? And the first option is security, second is economy, corruption, or electricity. Don't forget that you can get your voice and this is your poll result turned into us on our email, and the email is 2023verdict@channelstv.com. 2023verdict@channelstv.com. That is the email where you can turn in your poll question, and at some point at the end of the week and on Monday you will get what other people are saying. I will put a poll result out there so that the candidates will know what Nigerians are saying, and you can tweet to us on the handles showing on your screen. Our final moment now with the resident electoral commissioner of Lagos State, Mr. Olusegun Agbaje. Thank you so much, Mr. Agbaje. Finally tonight,
thank you.
If you look at what is going on around the country and the feelings that Nigerians are having, there are more young people, like we showed earlier on the program, that are willing, that have registered in the first place. And if you look at them from the age of 18 to 39, they make the most of the voting population. But I'd like to ask you, and honestly, if you can tell us, what do you think is perhaps a major issue or problem or challenge that you think Lagos voters are confronted with, or INEC is confronted with, going into this election, which is just 22 days away?
Well, a lot of issues around on the table, but I would think that with the various categories of people who have on our voters registered now, particularly the youths, I believe that if they are really well organized, they can make a difference in the coming election. I do believe most sincerely that they should be, because that is the essence of galvanizing them, come and register, come and collect their PVCs, and get set for the election.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Agbaje. I wish you the very best, because Lagos has a lot of attention, and it will be so because of the voting population in that state. Thank you indeed. I wish you the very best in the conduct. We will still come back to you should they have any question to ask on behalf of Nigerians. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Let's get back to our earlier conversation. We were speaking with the SDP governorship candidate in Rivers State. Let's get the other side of the divide in this conversation. There are allegations about issues of violence. I'm being joined on the program by the Commissioner for Information in Rivers State, Mr. Chris Feinborn. Thank you so much, Mr. Feinborn, for joining us tonight. Heavy allegations are leveled against your government and the PDP, the ruling party in Rivers State. How do you react to some of these allegations?
Well, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Let me make it very clear, for the benefit of our viewers at least, that the Rivers State government abhors violence of any kind. The Rivers State government has zero tolerance for violence of any kind, including politically related violence. That is not what we do, and that is not what we will ever encourage. Now, sitting here and listening to Senator Abe make the allegations he was making, it broke my heart. It broke my heart because this is a path that opposition parties in Rivers State have always taken. They always blame everything on the government except themselves. They don't blame themselves at all. Now, if you listen to him, he never in any way indicated that his party did everything right and got the short end of the stick from hoodlums or wherever. He never said that they complied with the executive orders 21 and 22. Now, the police very often advise the prospective protesters never to protest, especially when they sense that hoodlums and undesirable elements will hijack such protests. It is not because they want to prevent those who want to genuinely protest, but because they have sensed that the purpose will be defeated by these undesirable persons. And it is on that account that prior to the heightening of political activities, Rivers State government decided that all of the doubts that get created along the path will have to be cleared so that we don't run into problem again, problem of violence, problem of all kinds of things. And the government decided that, look, there is the need to institute Executive Order 21, which essentially requests, makes it mandatory for a political party that wants to use any place for campaigns to apply, get permission. The benefits are many when there is such an order. Even the police will be helped in their job, and there will be order. And government came out with that lofty executive order, followed by the Executive Order 22, which prescribed that, look, just like you have places of worship and of faith springing all over the place, some in the middle of very residential areas, in the middle of all kinds of places. That order is meant to ensure that people do not set up places of, not just places of politics, not just campaign offices and all that, but it specified the number of activities that should not be. Should not open their offices within residential areas. And if it has to be done, then those who intend to do that should apply to government. Get permission.
Mr. Feinberg,
yes.
Yeah, you heard Senator Abbey earlier, and he mentioned some names. Although I was a bit uncomfortable with that, because mentioning names, that means one thing, that he has confirmation on the claims that he has made. But he said that there are videos to attest to the activities or the involvement of these persons. These persons, you are aware or you know about them, don't you? He says they are the chairman of some of these local government areas where these violence are fomented. Can you react to those specific situations? Especially in Ahawada West, where
that is actually where I was going to. It was more heartbreaking for me to listen to the senator say this, having regard to the fact that he rose to almost the apex of his job in government as secretary to government. He should know that it is difficult. I don't think he did it when he was at that level in government. It is difficult for government at that level, or officials of government at that level, to go and fiddle with little street touchings to cause problem. I don't think it's very, very easy. And he knows it. That is where it broke my heart. If things happen at certain levels, you might excuse it and begin to say, okay, let's inquire into it. But not to blame the government or the governor or high government officials to be involved. Now, why I started with the executive orders is that the chief security officers of local governments are the local chairman are the local chief security officers of the local governments. And if there are issues of law and order, they lead in enforcing, not to physically lead, but to help security agencies to say, look, we think our laws are step in and handle it. That is different from street touchings, getting violent and doing all sorts of things. We completely abhor all those kind of actions. And I can tell you that government has no hand in it. And I don't think any responsible local government chairman or government official would involve in that level of government as he described. Violence. I believe that situations that were created by his party and other parties who vowed that they will never obey laws, orders of government and all that, and therefore decided to step out and use facilities, particularly government facilities, without permission. That gave room for these hoodlums to step in and, latch onto the gaps that, existed. As it.
All right, Mr. Feinberg, just for a moment. Mr. Feinberg, just for a moment. Let me, because I still have Senator Abe here with us. Senator Abe, you've heard the commissioner. How do you react to some of those things? Has he been able to deal with your concerns or some of the issues that you have raised tonight?
My friend, Chris Feinberg, started very well when he said that this is what opposition parties have been saying, because he knows that that is exactly what I'm saying now is what he was saying when he was the spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress, because he knows that what I'm saying is true, and that is what is happening in the state. In Thai, the Thai local government chairman came out to say that he went to the SDP office to enforce Order 21 and 22 physically. There was shooting, there was violence. You have the videos. In Oyibo, the hoodlums that came out were the ones who called the name of Desmond Akawo. The video is also with you, Shehu. In Akinima, the local government chairman was the one who went with security agencies to the office to drive the people out of the place where we were to have our function. In Degema, it was the same thing. So what is happening in Rivers State is state-sponsored terrorism, and it is being sponsored and heralded through the local government chairman in the state. And it has now extended to where mobilizers, members, chieftains of the Social Democratic Party are being targeted for arrest and incarceration. This is Nigeria. We are going to contest the election and we are going to win the election. No amount of intimidation, no amount of violence will stop Rivers people from voting.
Quickly, Senator, let me allow...
Who do not have the idea or the intention to contest the election should go and prepare for election, because there will be elections in Rivers State. That's the reality.
Senator, let me allow the commissioner to react to this. Commissioner, you've heard again from Senator Abe. Your reaction, please.
Is that I lost you at a point. I just got back now.
Okay, so it pretty much doubled down on the fact that the state is using local government chairmen to foment trouble. And it says state-sponsored terrorism. How do you react to it? Quickly, please.
That is far from it. I think the senator is simply playing politics. He is well known to the corridors of power to know that that cannot be true. What you find is that the opposition parties always look for cheap excuses whenever they underperform or they believe they will underperform, in order to also show up their own image before their people and all that. I don't think that is true. What I find happening is that these parties, these little known parties, are not ready for election in Rivers to blame and cheap excuses and exits.
All right.
Of them will exit. Yeah.
Mr. Feinborn, we need to close now, and I'd like to get your view on this matter before we close. There's been reaction coming from the PDP in Rivers State and the APC as well, the denial of the venue for the PDP event, which it's been alleged that there are factions of the APC that are in cahoots with the PDP in the organization, and it was addressed to the chairman, the DG of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, the governor of Sokoto State. How do you react to what has been a response coming this evening that it is It amounts to an amateur ventriloquism to suggest that the Rivers State APC and our governorship candidate is working in cahoots with the state chapter of the PCC. Your quick reaction on this matter?
Well, I do not know who is working with who. All I know is that the situation is fluid and the state government continues to review things every other hour, every other day. And if the state government has become convinced that the APC people, everywhere they went to, created violence, created problem, I think the government is required to be proactive enough to do the...
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Feinborn, the Commissioner for Information.
And therefore, there are many reasons. You know how government works. There must be very good reasons why.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Feinborn, the Commissioner for Information in Rivers State, and as well Senator Magnus Abe, the SDP governorship candidate in Rivers State. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Just before we go, we'd like to inform our viewers to stand by just at the bottom of the hour at 8:30. The press conference by the Lagos State Labour Party candidate, Mr. Gbadebo Rose Viver, will air. So stand by to watch what he has to say. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimalo. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye for now.